Welcome back to the Grand Slam channel. Today is Sunday, October 12th. We'll be covering the entire NFL slate, or at least the games that I have props in. We do have one MLB game, but we are going to focus for NFL. But let's see what we have for MLB real quick. And obviously we only have that one game. I do like Bryce Miller though at 2.5. If you need a gobby, at 1.5 looks like a free score to me. But Bryce Miller definitely taking his over. Do we have any good hitters? Obviously, Vladimir Guerrero was a cash cow for me. So you can take the 1.5 as in play. Or you can take his total bases. This is probably best for Vladimir. Total bases or his hits allowed. Or hits. And they actually do have a hits. So there you go. 2-punch for MLB. But let's head on over to NFL. Obviously, you want to stay away from the popular tab. First prop I'm going to go with, being a cash cow for me, that is CMC. Christian McCaffrey. Been cashing everything I've been taking him. Receiving yards, fantasy score, rushing yards. Been taking his gobby. Been cashing his gobby. But his receiving yards, he's been getting way more receiving yards than rushing yards. I'm going to keep it the same, 52.5. I still like it. Any gobbies in play, especially in this game against the Buccaneers. 49ers are still playing handicap, but yet they still win games. Christian McCaffrey's a big part of that. So Christian McCaffrey is my first leg. Fantasy score, receiving yards, touchdowns if you want to throw it in there. It's a gobby actually. Fantasy score at 21.5. I mean, look at this guy. Having a heck of a season for a depleted 49ers squad, and yet they're first in their division. So Christian McCaffrey, definitely taking him. He is my first leg. Second one we're going to go with. We're going to go with Ferguson. Jake Ferguson from the Cowboys. This guy's been and an absolute tear as well. Receiving yards is definitely in play. I've been taking his gobby. He's been cashing me out. But in this matchup against Carolina, I think he could go off. Receiving yards, fantasy score, they're both in play. Look at his fantasy score. 23.9, 17, 21.2, 16 point. He's been cashing his fantasy every game with the exception of the opener. So they know what he can do. Dak Prescott has trust in him. So Jake Ferguson, fantasy score, receiving yards, receptions, gobby 4.5 is my favorite. Even receiving targets, that's also in play, but his receptions is probably best. He's been averaging 5, but as you can see, 9, 13, 7, 7. Even when he was not being targeted, he ended up getting 5. So that looks like a solid gobby at 4.5. Probably my favorite one on the board as far as gobby. But Jake Ferguson definitely will be on my slips. So McCaffrey can run a 1-2 punch right there. McCaffrey, Ferguson brings me to my third leg. And we're going to go with Garrett Wilson from the Jets. He is been pretty much the only reliable receiver for the Jets. So Garrett Wilson, his receiving yards has been slightly bumped. It was at 54.5 earlier in the week. It's up to 56.5. Still like it. Every game he's hit with the exception of one. Going against Denver, they're going to be targeting him. He's the number 1 receiver for the Jets. I'm going to go right back to him. Garrett Wilson, everything's in play. Gobby reception, 3.5. That's a solid one right there. Receiving yards. Fantasy score could be in play. I think he gets in the end zone, so he should cash that pretty easily. So that's definitely in play. Garrett Wilson, Ferguson, McCaffrey. Those are your top 3. And we're going to take a sneaky play here. That is David. Took him once in the past 4 weeks since the season started. I'm going to go right back to him. 67. The only bad game he had was against the Lions. I believe I took him when he played the Green Bay Packers. Didn't take him last week. He had a big game against the Vikings. They're going to need him here against the Steelers. Division rival. I think he cashes here. Receiving yards. Receptions is in play. But I prefer his receiving yard. Even his fantasy score at solid 8. We'll stick to his receiving yards. Next up, we're going to go with was my play of the week last week. And that is Tyquan Thornton from the Chiefs. This is a game I'm going to be focusing a lot. I think I'm going to have one solo slip just covering the Chiefs and Lions game. The primetime game, the late evening game. I like this game a lot. Should be high scoring. Should be a great game. Tyquan Thornton, I'm going to go right back to him. We took him last week. Look at that. He had 90 yards. I don't think he'll get to 90, but he's definitely going to have way over 21.5. I'm going to go right back to him. They're going to focus double team on Travis Kelce. Lions have multiple weapons with Montgomery, Amon St. Brown, and Jamar Gibbs, which we'll talk about right now. But Tyquan, we took his fantasy score last week. Fantasy score receiving yards, definitely taking that. I might take Tyquan as a two-man power-up with Christian McCaffrey. I think that might be my play of the day. So I will post that probably on my Twitter, X, Instagram pages for McCaffrey and Tyquan. Definitely like those two. Those are my favorite two plays for today's slate. And then one more I'm going to go with is Jamar Gibbs. And Jamar Gibbs, I mean, anything. He's a switch to Army knife. I think everything's in play. Receiving and rushing yards. Receiving, he hasn't been getting those touches like last season. In this game, I do think he does go over, but he still hasn't been getting... He's been rushing more this season. But I think for Jamar Gibbs in this matchup, we're going to play it safe. 16.5 looks like a free score to me, especially in this game against the Chiefs. If the Lions are going to win, they need to two-headed monster between Montgomery and Gibbs. If they want to defeat the Chiefs, which they've been vulnerable this season. And I actually do think the Lions do get past the Chiefs. It's going to be a nail-biter, but Lions have too many weapons right now. But those are the 6 strongest props. I do like so many other props. Tucker Kraft, Ricky Doodle, Jalen Warren. There's a couple more props that I have. Matthew Golden from the Packers, even Ingram. So those are a couple that I like. But these 6, gotta have them sprinkled in your slips. So mix and match. Pick your favorite. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Appreciate your support. If you want all my slips, I do have a Discord. The link is in the description below. Other than that, have a great day and see you guys in the next one.